What's going on, everybody? It's Dave Drakes with the Collective Experience, and we've got another interview for you this week that I'm pretty excited about. I know Brad is. Joining me, of course, is Brad with Big MX Radio, not Manny this week. Again, we had to make sure that he was good with his whole Texas, no internet, underwater, blah, blah, blah. I think it's an excuse, Brad, right? Probably an excuse.
Yes. Unfortunately, you're going to have to settle for my subpar analysis and lining of questions. Yeah, thoughts and prayers to Manny and everybody in Texas for loss of their some destruction of homes, loss of lives, all that collection. Like here, we get some crazy temperatures, but our homes and everything else and our infrastructure is built for it. They don't have that here, and that's why I'm pinch hitting here on the Oreo line.
Yeah, on the oil line. So the reason why I'm excited is because we got a chance to we're sitting down with the one and only Biggie Zoid, aka Scrub Daddy, aka the OG. What's going on, man? How are you?
Man, I'm good, man. Staying blessed up and always having fun. That's pretty much my lifestyle.
Exactly. That's why you're so much fun to follow, man. If you guys aren't following him, please check him out. On the Instagram. We're going to tag it below. Tons of good pictures, always a good laugh. You and Swap give us probably some of the most funny back and forth banter. It's like pretty much second to none. It's hilarious. For those people out there, very few who may not be familiar with Biggie Zoid, aka Scrub Daddy, give us a quick rundown of your history in the sport, how you got started with photography, and a little bit about yourself.
All right, I started with the photography. I used to be a filmer first.
Oh, wow.
And then, I got away from that once computers and all that started coming. I'm like, that's took a little too much time. So, I'm like, let me start doing the photo thing. So I started doing the photos. And I've been doing photos for a minute, but they ain't been so great. They still ain't that good. I still got a lot of work to go. But like I say, I was doing filming first, then I went to the photos. Mm-hmm. And I always been I've been riding dirt bikes since I was like 7. Oh, so wow. I always been in the dirt. So, and still in the dirt, but that's pretty much, and that's pretty much it, man. That's how I really started getting into filming, because I started wanting to, see my little so-called tricks, that's how I became with the Scrub Daddy. Because my nephew one day was like, hey, man, you got to try to scrub like Bubba.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I can't scrub like that. But anyway, that's how the photography came. Because I one time did one a little good. So I'm like, hey, I think we need a photo of that.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty sick, man.
That's how that came about.
That's pretty sick. So you're in the Cali area. What was one of the first moto type things that you got a chance to record or snap some pictures of?
The first thing I got, I don't know if anybody remember, it was called the every Christmas Paris used to put on this big race and all the pros would come.
Yep.
And I forgot the name of it, but it was Go
Bentley used to race that thing too. I think you won it one year.
Oh yeah, you remember that? I remember because I first met what's his name? Factory Phil Lawrence. Mm. And I wanted to get photos of Factory Phil
Robbie
Lawrence.
Raynard won it one year.
Yeah. That's when I really that was probably the first thing I started getting into was that. So that was probably the first thing I ever took photos of on a little, man, I'm talking about the camera it was probably one of the ones you throw away. The Polaroids.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Biggie's out there with the Kodak camera, winding it up, snapping pictures of guys like Raynard and like I said, Shea Bentley, as well as Robbie Raynard, all guys who won that Supercross. Dave, if you don't know, it was an event that was basically usually held in the latter weeks of December towards Christmas. And it was almost like an unsanctioned sort of Supercross before the Supercrosses. And it always happened right before the season started, the tail end of every year. But it was a really cool event because it gave a lot of guys a look as to what you might see going into the next season, because everyone was on their new rides. Everyone's all healthy and ready to rip. And it usually produced some really cool content. and Biggie, that was pretty cool that you're able to be on scene for some of those really cool events. Really kind of puts you in the nucleus of Southern California motocross, which of course, if you've ridden at Paris Raceway, you'd know that's basically it. Right?
Yeah, that was like the biggest. That was the big thing right there.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, man. That's like, if me and Brad could like go back in time, that's probably right where we want to be. You know what I mean? Like, especially guys that are growing up with, you know, winners that last most of the year. That would be like
Biggie too. He was a much younger man at the time.
Yeah, right. But you know, it's funny. Back then, I wasn't really riding like I am now. I was doing more watching.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, I used to ride an enduro.
Oh, okay.
Back when enduro wasn't cool. Enduro is cool now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
I
awesome.
tried to the light. Like I said, I wouldn't even really. I was into it, but not into it like I am now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Starting to make sense. I dig it.
Yep.
I dig it. So,
Right, fair enough. And
so,
don't worry about
okay.
the kitty cat there, Zoid. We're feline friendly here on the podcast.
We are, yeah. There's animals running around all over the place in my spot.
Yeah.
Don't even
Right.
stress.
All right.
don't even stress. So, like over the years, it looks like you've been pretty tight, like we said, with Swap Moto and a lot of really high level industry guys, I guess you can say. How did you kind of start those relationships, and how did you kind of cultivate like a friend group that's pretty much a lot of guys that most of us have on our walls?
Yeah. So okay, they have once they built Milestone.
Mm-hmm.
Milestone seemed to have like it was a lot of big pros going there, and that's when I really got into photography.
Mm-hmm.
And I started meeting a lot of dudes there. I was getting more into like going to the track every day. And one time I got a photo of Swap. He crashed.
Mm-hmm.
So he was giving me mess about posting it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I didn't really know him too good.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, yeah, man, that's the Trans World dude. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And they was like, oh man, you got him good with that photo. So he was like, hey man, you gotta like pull that down. I'm like, pull it down. I took it. I could post what I want.
Yeah.
So after that, I don't know. And then he used to make fun of my riding style.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, I don't know. I don't know how we clicked up, but we clicked up, and now we pretty much best friends. But yeah, Milestone set the stone for me. Milestone, I mean, I became tight with the Stewarts. I mean, you name it, Ryan Villapoto,
Mm-hmm.
like even Kenny Roczen. That's where it all happened at Milestone.
That's awesome, man.
Well, Dave, actually, let me take a stab at sort of my take as to how Biggie has become what he's became in Southern California.
Yeah.
Is that completely organically, Biggie completely understands the value and how necessary it is to build relationships out of consistency and high performance. The guy shows up every single day, whether it's getting the milestone assassin, Nick Schmidt, going all kinds of sideways, shedding a light on guys like Adam Cianciarulo when nobody knew that kid could rhyme, jamming Josh Faries, all those guys in the Southern California area, even taking pictures of Brandon Beaver every once in a while for the Instagram. He's always been there, and he's always been able to continuously shed light on the whole community, and he does not discriminate. If you're out there on two wheels, he's taking pictures of you, and you get to share that. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's been able to just cultivate so many great relationships with so much respect from so many people. And that's why I love Biggie as a follower, is that you're going to see everything on his feed. You're not just going to see Ken Roczen and those guys. Of course you're going to see those guys, but you're going to see everybody else in between. And he just celebrates the love of two wheels, and that's why he's popular. Hey
man, I like the way you put that. That was
good. See, now you know why we keep Brad around, right?
Right.
No, you're right. That's awesome. I bet you like Biggie probably has.
Biggie even talked to me.
Oh.
When I was in Paris in 2016, and I had my KX 252 stroke. I'd driven all the way down, and he had his KX 252 stroke, and we're swapping stories. And he's got the air forks on his. He's got it all powder coated and stuff like that.
Yep.
Salt of the earth guy, tons of stories. Doesn't matter if you're from the middle of Canada or Southern California, you're gonna get some FaceTime with Zoid, and I think that's why people love him.
No, that's super sick. The one thing that I do want to mention is the fact that you still rock a KX 250. I'm a Cowie guy. Grew up on Cowies from minis all the way up. Had a small stint with Yamaha, whatever. Brad's gonna give me crap for it. But you know, I'm on Cowies now. So to see like a KX 250 that's still out there cranking is like, it makes me super happy. Plus, I'm probably the world's biggest James Stewart fan. So watching any bike that Stewart used to like race, especially like in the heyday, if it's still out there, man, I'm sitting there, I'm like glued to the track watching it. You know what I mean? So.
Me too.
No, that's pretty awesome. Do you have any cool Stu stories for us about like Stu coming to the like the local tracks or anything like that?
Oh yeah, man. This one right here is a good one. All right, so I didn't even know who James Stewart was. I had never heard of Bubba. So one day I'm at Elsinore and I'm riding, and these kids come up to me and they said, "Hey man, you ride pretty good." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." And they was like, "Hey, you ever heard of that other black kid?" I'm like, "What black kid?" They was like, "You don't know Bubba." I'm like, "Bubba?" I'm like, "Man, that's a joke. Come on, are you joking or what?" Yeah. And they like, "No, for real, dude. This guy named Bubba. He's from Hangtown, Florida. This and that." He's like, "Google him. He's on YouTube." So I was like, "Okay." And then it was funny because I Googled him. I saw him scrubbing. I'm like, "Oh, this dude is good."
Yeah.
And I think 2 weeks after that, he showed up to Elsinore with with 26, number 26.
Burn.
Yeah, Burns.
Yeah.
And I was like, "God, dog, this is the dude they're talking about." So I saw him ride and I was like amazed. Yeah. So, man, when he was out there on the track, because James wasn't really too talkative. So when he came in, I'm like, I'm not leaving Elsinore without talking to him.
Yeah.
So I go over to his truck. I'm like, "Hey," and it was, I think J-Bone brought him. So I said, "Hey, man, I'm going to have to get that jersey." And he was like, "No, I can't give you this one because you know how James put like the races he won? Like sometimes he put those, so he had that one on. He's like, "No, I won the national with this one. I can't give you this one." I'm like, "Man, I ain't leaving until I get it." And he's kind of laughed and he just went back. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to do another moto." And he thought I was going to leave. I waited. So he came back. I was waiting at his truck and I was sitting on his truck. And I think he was kind of like scared because I told him, "Hey, man, I'm not leaving until I get that jersey." So long story short, he took the jersey off, and I felt bad because some little kids came, and I was like, they can't have that jersey, man, because I just barely found out about you, and I'm probably gonna never see you.
Yep.
And so he ended up giving me the jersey, and it was so funny because like right then and there, we kind of like connected because I told him, I was like, "I'm not leaving, man." Yeah. And he looking at me like, "Yeah, you about to get up off my truck." Yeah. But I got the jersey. I still got it in the house. And after that, I think I got like 4 more from him.
Holy crap! Okay, jeez, I'm gonna have to show up at Biggie's
5 more than I got.
Dude, I'm gonna have to show up at Biggie's house and just sit there and be like, "I'm not leaving until I get a jersey, dude.
We ain't leaving until we get James' jersey."
Right? I need a Stu jersey. I will never get a chance to get a Stu jersey.
Yeah.
Hey, what was that address again?
That's incredible, man. That's such a dope story. Was that when James was like in the 125 class, or was he already moved up to the
125s?
Oh,
yeah, in 2004.
Oh,
yeah. And then and then I saw him because I don't know if you remember at Star West they used to do that. Oakley used to put on that little like it was like the surfer cross, but it was like for the pros.
Oh yeah.
I met him over there with Carmichael. And then I did the same thing again, and James was dying. I was like, "Man, I'm waiting at his truck like, hey, man, I need that jersey." He's like, "Oh, I can't give you this one." Yep. And long story short, he ended up having one that they were supposed to raffle off. He was so cool, he just like slid it to me.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
That's all the inside little... That's not taking no for an answer. I like that.
So, Brad, would that work nowadays, dude? Do you think we could like sit on like Tomac's like truck and be able to get one like a jersey right now?
I don't know if the number 3 is giving you a jersey just for hanging out. I think given the fact that he's walked away from me mid-interview, I would not. I think it would depend on who you're talking to, or like it's so different rider to rider, and whether or not they like to share their stuff. But I think the like a guy who like respects the hustle by hanging out, putting in the time. I'm sure James saw Biggie hanging out there. He's like, this guy's determined.
Yeah.
And he's probably a little bit crazy. So it's best just to relinquish the jersey. Championship, Maine. Maybe this is a perfect season jersey, but he needs it. So that's cool. And that it's cool that you stayed around to actually cultivate the story and add to it, Biggie. That's in a way, that jersey isn't for naught because it ends up becoming a story on this. You know what I mean?
And then not only that, and then like when he went with Sam Manuel Yamaha.
Yep.
Me and Larry Brooks became tight, and me and Larry Brooks is still tight, and me and James kind of got tight then too.
That's cool. That's the way. We need your Rolodex, Biggie. We need like the numbers and the context you have. We need that.
Yeah, I'm hacking into his phone right now.
Yeah, we got to hack into his phone and get all the contacts, all the
right,
all the cool ids. Oh, that's funny. So I think it's super cool. You've been around for as long as you have and been able to cultivate these relationships. So you've pretty much been able to see a lot of riders like pretty much like start and almost finish out their career. What's one rider that you saw from either their beginning of them being pro or even before, like an AMS, that kind of surprised you when they had like a really good like career? Like one guy that you're like, okay, it's pretty good, but I did not expect him to be that good when I first saw him.
Well, actually, I'm gonna go with somebody that's up to date right now. My little buddy Jammin' Josh, dude. I've been knowing Jammin' since he was like on 50s.
Yeah.
And I always seen him working. And you know, I never really thought that Jammin' would be doing what he's doing right today. Right now, he's sitting in 6th place in points in the 250 light.
Yes, he is.
That's cool.
He was on my podcast in 2014 when he was on 65s.
Yeah.
Way back, but before, like the kid was racing CRF 150s. Literally, might as well have been born and raised at Milestone.
Yeah.
And he just ripping that place up. Basically, he's homeschooled. I've seen that kid doing homework in the back of Milestone when it was operating, and then ripping laps on the arena cross track, the supercross track, outdoors, and then where Biggie goes at the old timers track. And yeah, it's beautiful. I love to see him ride, and like just such a humble kid that works hard. Can't say enough good things about Jammin' Josh Barees, who I was actually connected with through Jimmy Sloan, who was the owner operator of Free the Peeps down in SoCal.
That's such a cool story.
And you know what? I never really followed nobody like I followed him. Like, because most people you follow and like they either fall off or they don't go all the way. But ever since I just been watching Jammin', he's been the most consistent of just growing and never giving up. I mean, he didn't have injuries, and I'm pretty sure he had struggle with because this sport is pretty expensive, and it seems like he just never gave up. And now it seems like, you know, it's paying off.
That's sick, man. That's cool. I like hearing stories like that, because to me it seems like I like that sort of firsthand like knowledge of someone that's close to them. Because to someone like me that doesn't know, like, you know, the Cali Groms that well, it seems like these guys already have everything handed to them. So to find out like, hey, you know, these guys actually, they're grinding, they're there every week, they're putting the time in, you know, they are, you know, the average moto fan that might have the struggles here and there, it makes them feel more grounded, you know what I mean, and really gives them a personality, which I really appreciate. So that's super dope. So I got this whole conversation makes you want to get out to a SoCal like Cali Moto track, man. Like
man, you gotta come on down, man. You gotta come down this summer. It's gonna be going off.
I definitely once we get the whole COVID bans lifted and we can start to like finally relax, Brad, we got to get down there, man. We got to do a trip.
Yeah,
dude, my border's closed. They won't even let me down there.
Once it's open, to
come back into the country. Like I think that this was an imposed ban on me coming to California so that I wouldn't trade off laps with young Biggie Zoid. The two of us could finally figure out who really can get low over those tabletops and the doubles and this and everything. It's coming. Mark your calendars. As soon as they open up the borders, I'm coming down. I'm getting in my Ford F-150, 36-hour drive from the heart of Canada all the way to Paris, and you better have your best kit on that day, my friend, because you and I are going to square off.
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about, baby. I'm ready for this right here. Make me want to start back training.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So just like every other moto fan, Biggie, I'm sure you've seen all the latest races, all the news or whatever. What's your take on the racing so far in 2021? Like, are you liking it? Is one rider standing out to you more than others? Are the two?
Man, I'm this season. I'm loving it. I'm bummed for what happened last weekend to the Martin brothers.
Yeah.
I'm like, God, they had just been, especially the number 6. He'd been training so hard and to come into the first race and now he's out. But the 450 class, the 450 class is about to get heated. With Cooper in second and Kenny Roczen only 6 points ahead, it's going to really get, because Barsha now, it seems like even Barsha now is riding better.
Yeah.
Gloves off. This is serious now.
Yep.
There's too much talent in the 450 class. All those guys are just going way too fast right now. When you got guys like Brock Tickle, who are absolute badasses on 2 wheels, getting 15ths, like Biggie was like, too, Dave, back in the mid 2000s, you had no idea who the guy in 15th was. No idea.
Nope.
Maybe never heard of the guy.
Yes.
Unless you're a big Joe Olaf fan. But seriously, now it's factory guys. It's Brock Tickle. It's Justin Bogle. It's Joey Savacci. Those guys have won races. Sometimes they've won. 2 of those guys won championships in this class.
Yep.
I know. That's the
crazy.
Part. Yeah.
There's so many champions in the 450 class right now. It's just log jammed. And we're the benefits because we get to see those races unfold on Saturday nights. Biggie, what's your setup on a Saturday night when the races are happening? I assume big screen. I assume snacks. Paint the picture for us as to how you take in this beautiful sport we love so much.
Hey, you know what's funny is when I watch the races on Saturday, all these dudes be trying to get me to come over, but I'm so into it, I just stay home because I want to hear everything. Yeah, and I be right, like I'm close to the TV,
Blinders.
And man, I just want to hear. I want to watch every second of it. So I kind of stay home and just watch it by myself.
Yeah,
that is some of the best.
Biggie's like underneath the covers in bed, watching it on his phone. Like, screw you guys.
That's the way that I like it. So like, it's cool. I'm sure Brad, you can attest to this. Zoe, you too. Like when you're at the races, it's cool. It's cool for the experience. Cool to see your buddies, this and that. But when you're home on your own couch and you can just yell at the TV and like no one's distracting you. There's no noise. Like that is some of the best time you can have right there.
The best. And because when you go to friends' house, you got to be calm and like, oh, look at that move. No, right here, I'll be like, oh my God, you see that scrub?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like, every time, man, I love the way, like last week, Barsha was riding so good. Man, his bike I call it the dump. His bike be dumping. If you just watch that front end, oh my God. And that's all I've been doing lately. I call it the dump. Josh Hansen really brought it out.
Yep.
But now it seems like
come over and he just drop the front end.
Yeah. So that's how I've been riding. I've been dropping that front end, and every time I watch Barsha, oh my God, I can't get enough of it.
Same here, and I've been talking about that with Brad a little bit in the past couple of weeks. This Barsha that we have now in the gas, it's like Barsha when he was back on the 250 Honda days. Like we start to see the guy.
It's 2011
player. He's like having fun. The bike's all over the place. But he looks like he's in control though still. So like it's almost like, man, like Barsha just like lost like 10 years on himself. He's back to being a 15-year-old kid. Just having a blast.
He's Verb Platinum Barsha now.
He's back to Platinum. And I didn't know that he was riding. They said he was riding hurt, and now they say he's feeling better. I was like, what? I didn't even know that. I read somewhere, and they said he was riding. I didn't know he had crashed at the practice track.
Okay.
But they said now, so Barsha should show up Daytona.
That's gonna be a good one. I am excited. I've never really been excited for Daytona that much, but now that we have again a repeat of like the Roczen Tomac who's gonna take a deal, plus Cooper Webb, plus like you said, Brad, 8 other guys that look like they've all risen up, and a rejuvenated Barsha, and Malcolm's on a factory bike now, and like, come on, who's how can you call it? Yeah, right.
Yeah, hey, it's gonna be a tough one. But I hate to tell you, man, I'm gonna have to go with the I'm calling this one. I'm calling Roczen for the win.
What makes you say Roczen?
I like it.
Roczen, because you know what? I mean, like, you watch Roczen, even though he'd rather win the overall, but I don't think he want Cooper to win too many, because like, if Cooper win too many races, ain't no stopping him. If Cooper win the next race or the next 2 races, championship is going to Cooper.
Yes.
There is not a single rider in North American motocross that is more benefited mentally through confidence in doing well. When Cooper Webb is firing on all cylinders, things are clicking, and he's winning races, nothing can stop in his way. Same actually goes for if things are going back the opposite way. It seems to snowball for him, but he has the ability to take wins and multiply them. And I think that there should be at least some urgency from Kenny to put a stop to that, especially with some of these outdoor style races. Of course, 450 champion 2 times now with Kenny. He's a 2-time champion. And hey, don't count out that 3-time champion in the big green machine. He's the lone bike underneath the Kawasaki tent now. And I think that Tomac wants to show out with the last 9 races left in the series. He's not going to go quietly.
Man, Tomac seems to be. He looked like he's struggling.
Yes, we haven't seen it yet, but I gotta think it's still there, right?
Yeah, it's got to be there, like you said. And then Daytona gonna be real rough. And I noticed Tomac, he likes the rough. The rougher the track is, the faster he goes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If we see him show up in Daytona, that gives me hope for the rest of the series for him to be a contender. If you don't see it in Daytona, I think it's done.
I agree with that.
I agree. Do you think that Roczen is worried about a Tomac win? Is that going to rattle Roczen at all if Tomac comes out of nowhere and, wherever he was, wherever he was last weekend and comes and gets a win?
Roczen would rather him win. Roczen is only worried about Cooper, because look at what Cooper did to him the year before that, how he was just stealing his wins.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to agree with that. That is definitely something I am.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that Ken hates losing to more than Cooper. Yep. I don't know if he takes that personally or just whatever, but it just grinds his gears. He absolutely hates losing to Cooper Webb.
Just like he tried, even though he shook his hand that one race, I think he was just trying to, show the cameras, look, but I ain't worried about that. Yeah. But I think he was still a little heated.
Oh man,
even though he was mad at Dino.
Yeah, I mean, I'm salty if I lose like on gaming just stuff. If I'm playing MX Unleashed and I lose, I'm throwing my controller. If I was leading a Supercross race, oh my. Dude, I would be in a I'd rip bikes apart. I'm like knocking people over. I would be livid. Come on.
Right?
Oh, that's funny. So going back a little bit, Biggie, like we said, you've seen so much happen over the years, moto related, at pretty much the mecca of motocross being in Southern California. What is one thing that you would love to bring back to the sport that you haven't seen in a while? Whether that's a rider, a team, whatever you're thinking.
Now, this might be before y'all time, but I don't know if y'all know about the Dash for Cash.
Arena Cross, of course. Denny Stevenson, Buddy Antunes, baby.
Hey, they had it in Supercross too at the Coliseum.
Chad Pedersen. Hell yeah. Those would be sweet. Cool. You know what? I think if you want to talk about especially if they allowed the guys that didn't, anyone who didn't make the main event to go into the Dash for Cash. Do you have any idea what one Alex Ray would do to take somebody's fib? Dude, if he didn't make the main event, he's sending Frederick Noren into the cheap seats. It's over. See you later. That's what I
want to see. That
whole race could just be brought to you by Kawasaki because they're already paying the contingency.
That would be literally A-Ray would kill people. I love A-Ray. He's my buddy, but that dude will kill people for that opportunity. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would love for them to come back with, man. I missed that dash for cash.
I would like to see that.
That would be
absolutely.
That would be amazing. I'm definitely all for it. This was fun, man. This was super good. Me and Brad love nerding out on all things moto, especially from the era that you were talking about. That's kind of like where we kind of fell in love with the sport. So that was obviously we love that. Biggie, it's always great, chatting and picking your brain and getting a chance to realize how connected you are. And for those of you that want to get connected, please check out our TCE Arena Cross Internship Program. Now, we can't get you as connected as Biggie Zoid. He's a unicorn. That dude can magically get things. But if you want the next best step in getting a chance to meet pro riders, be part of pro teams, and get your career started in motocross and supercross, check us out. Click that link below. And as always, please hit that subscribe button if you want more in-depth interviews like this, behind-the-scenes vlogs, great product reviews, a lot of banter, and much more. This is fun, man. Biggie, we just came out with a whole new merch line. We're going to get you something out for sure. We're going to connect with you, and I'll get you a shirt. And guys, that merch should be available this week. So be sure to check out thecollectedxp.com for all the new merch. And thanks to everybody who's supporting that. Brad,
breaking the internet with new merch.
Breaking the internet with new merch, man. Nothing better than that. Brad, this was fun. Biggie, thank you so much.
Always.
We're definitely going to get you back on eventually. Everybody, if you're not following this guy already, he's worth the follow. The funniest banter, the coolest photos, and this guy is a true insider. So check him out. Guys, this was fun. We're going to do it again soon.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Biggie. Last question for you is: how does your back feel?
My back?
Is your back sore from carrying this whole video, my friend?
Typical
I love
Brad.
it.
No,
Typical
I'm feeling good.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you keeping us on the straight and narrow and keeping this thing together.
Hey, I'm writing on my calendar. And I'm going to put it on my calendar. You come in as soon as the border's open.
Yep.
All right.
Mark it down. REM.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. All right. Thank you, guys.